continuing our playthrough of the Tomb of Annihilation. Joining us today, we have Sarpedon, the Dragonborn Eldritch Knight, Cade, the Halfling Barbarian, and Thok, the Half-Orc Fighter. After last week, the party had been approached in Phandalin by Sindra Silvermane, who explained the workings of the Death Curse and was asking the heroes to travel to Chult to try and find the source and stop it. While they were talking, the town of Phandalin was attacked by the party's previous nemesis, Venomfang, and Venomfang devastated the town and killed several of our party members. Sindra was able to save them and stop them from being killed permanently. However, now Cade and Sarpedon are affected by the Death Curse themselves. So, they had to secure a boat to travel to Chult. And that was another ordeal entirely, because then they had to fight with slavers, and they were attacked by pirates, and it was just barely that they managed to traverse the sea and arrive in Chult safely. So at the end of our last encounter, the boat that they had was shipwrecked, and they escaped on a small rowboat, and they have landed here on the northeastern edge of Chult. Now they just have to figure out how to get from there to Port Nyanzaru to the southeast west. Okay. So, how you doing, guys? Can you not hear me? Am I muted?
Yeah.
No, I'm not muted.
Okay, so where are we at then?
On the map, you can see the purple circle is where you guys had landed. And then the blue circle highlights Port Nyanzaru, where you guys need to go. And between here and there, roughly 120 miles.
Assuming we want to go through the woods there.
Alright, so what's our plan?
Probably straight there.
Well, I'm thinking I see this landmark here called Fort Belluarian is close by. Perhaps if we stick to the coast and walk to it there, they probably have supply caravans running between there and Port Nyanzaru. At least if that's where they get their supplies from.
The first mate who was on the boat with you, he turns and he looks and he says, "But how do we know that that's a place where people are going to be friendly? How do we know that it's not like full of some type of evil or malicious, creature? All we know is it's on the map. How can we be sure?"
Well, last I heard, the most prominent authority on this island was the Trade Prince, and perhaps this fort is under his control.
The Trade Princes are all in Port Nyanzaru. I've always heard that there was no civilized towns in Chult other than the port.
Well, the map we have is about the most complete one that's ever been made of the island. If somebody charted this on the map and lived to tell the tale, perhaps there's some outposts on this island, but you do make a good point. So I turn to my companions and ask them what they think we should do.
It wouldn't be the first time we've walked into hostile territory.
At the very least, I think it's a 50-50 shot. But maybe for any kind of trade caravans going to Port Nyanzaru, we might be able to do some protection and possibly pick up a coin or two.
I don't know, guys. I'm completely at a loss here. Maybe one of us should scout ahead, try to see if what's out there.
All right, sounds logical. Where's Reptar, by the way? Perhaps he's got that covered for us already.
He's probably thinking with his stomach again.
All right, so what should we do?
Oh, let's head in that direction. We'll decide what to do once we get closer.
Your first mate, or former first mate, since you no longer have a boat, starts gathering some supplies into a pack. And he says, "I'll scout ahead. I'm pretty good at going unnoticed, so I'm just going to take a moment and try to get as close to the fort as I can, and I'll just see if it's hostile or not, and I'll come back and let you know." And he starts heading off into the dense woods at the edge of the shore. And as he's about 10 feet out from the woods, you hear a large cracking sound come from the woods. He stops and freezes in terror and turns to look.
Oh. What do you see?
He doesn't say anything. You could just tell that all the color is drained from his face, and he looks completely terrified. And I'm going to put you guys onto the map so you have some vision. There's you guys. I'm not going to bother with the other one. Hey now. Those guys aren't in this fight anymore. Oh, you're already on this map. Kick. Okay. So, you're standing there, and he's standing at the edge, and what you see is a monstrous creature comes rampaging out from the woods. He immediately scoops down and grabs your friend in his jaws. And it just froze. It didn't put it on the map. Let's try that again. Hey! So, it scoops down, it grabs the first mate, and in one quick snap, the first mate has been consumed and destroyed. It seems distracted for a moment. It hasn't yet noticed the rest of you. What are you going to do?
Oh, do we kill Reptar's big brother, or do we run?
I feel if we run, we're probably going to get noticed, so we'll probably have to fight either way. So it may possibly spread out just in case.
As you guys are having this conversation, you begin to backpedal away from the monstrous beast. As you do, your foot touches onto the boat. You almost fall into it because you're not paying attention.
Alright, do we have to roll something to ensure the monster doesn't notice us?
Well, what are you guys haven't actually decided anything yet. Currently, he has not noticed you. I mean, but what would you guys like to do?
Move away from
the
him.
boat.
Yeah, maybe try to sneak away from it. So should we roll a stealth check for the group?
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so you begin pushing the boat off of the sandy beach back into the water, and right as the boat touches into the water, and you guys start treading and splashing to get into the boat, it sits up and it looks at you. It starts to approach.
Push faster. Push faster.
Okay, so in a panic, everybody grabs an oar and starts to row. Cade doesn't have an oar, so he scoops his hands and starts paddling into water and side. And you guys manage to make it off of the beach, and you're back into the Sea of Chult.
But not too far.
Not too far yet. Yeah, because remember, Shining Sea is bad. Okay, so you guys follow your map and decide that you're going to go around the island, since apparently there's giant dinosaurs in the woods. And you go... I need the right tool. You go around the point and then down to the bay. Okay? It's a long journey, especially since you're unprepared. Hey! How's it going, man? Thanks for the follow. It's a long journey, but you're able to get there before the day is out. And you're quite tired. The entire ordeal has been very exhausting. They fight with Venom Fang, the travel and being ambushed by the pirates, and then your boat getting wrecked, and then there's a frickin' dinosaur. So you guys arrive in the harbor of Port Nyanzaru. A little worse for wear, but whole. I'm a woman, and I'm good. Oh, what did I say? Did I say what's up, man? That's probably what I did. Alright, so Port Nyanzaru. When you arrive at the port, it's just about... Why is this frickin' thing here? You guys, do you see this? Yeah, you do. I gotta reload. And that means I gotta open up all my pages again. That sucks. Okay, so you arrive in the port just a little bit before sundown. And the first thing that you notice, I don't know what you notice because all my notes closed because I had to reload the page. That happened to you too? Yeah, it's been happening ever since the update. Like, shit from the compendium will get stuck on the map, and then you have to reload the page. But you see, I have all these things popped up on my other screen, so I have them for reference. And, that's no good. Alright, anyway. So you guys arrive here. And the first thing that you notice is that Chult is extremely hot. And from where you stand in the harbor looking around, you can see that the entire city of Chult is wrapped in 15-foot high concrete walls. They run along the harbor, protecting the main city from the sea. They separate parts of the city from other parts of the city. And They border the entire town. Standing here on the harbor, you hear the familiar sounds of ships and harbor activity, creaking ropes, slapping waves, heavy barrels rolling around cobblestones. They mingle with voices shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language filled with clicks, inhalations, and sing-songy words that make it almost sound like music. The aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruit mixes with the wholesome wharfside smells of fish, tar, and canvas. All around you, you see the Chiltons. And I'm giving you guys a handout so you can see the people here. Obviously, everything is a lot different than what you remember out on the Sword Coast. These are a tribal indigenous people, and they are working all along the dock around you. All of Port Nyanzaru is an explosion of color. Buildings are painted in bright shades of blue, green, and orange, or their walls are adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles and mythical heroes. Every building sports baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers, or is draped in leafy, flowering vines. There are minstrels in bright clothing with feathers and shells performing on street corners, and there are multicolored pennants and sun awnings fluttering atop all the city walls. It's actually quite beautiful, and it takes you a moment to take it all in, because it's a stark contrast to the gray cobblestone and bleak streets of Neverwinter and Phandelver. Okay, what would you guys like to do?
I believe Sindra Sylvain told us something about like the Thundering Lizard.
Okay.
So maybe we should probably look for that, because I think she said she would meet us there, or if we needed rest, we should head that direction. So we probably should ask one of the natives to point us in the direction of where that's at.
Okay. Approaching one of the natives working the dock, he looks up at you and is a little bit concerned. He says, "Where is your boat?"
At the bottom of the ocean, I'm afraid.
Oh, the bottom? How? What happened?
We were attacked by a giant tentacled monster.
Oh, yeah. There are giant monsters all over Chult. That's why we have those. And he makes a sideways gesture pointing at one of the walls. So, what do you need?
We need to find a locale in this port called the Thundering Lizard.
Aha, yeah, I know it. It's by the Red Bazaar.
Which is located where?
The Red Bazaar you will find in the southern part of town. You're going to have to head that way, and he points to the west, and then you'll follow the road down.
Well, it's a start.
Are there any kind of landmarks you could tell us about that could be located near it to help us recognize if we're in the right area?
Oh, you'll recognize the Red Bazaar. It's one of the biggest shopping districts in all of Port Nyanzaru. And you'll be able to see it because of its very distinctive color. Okay, So walking up, what you see is a temple right here. You see a boxy stone steps leading up to a giant temple looming ahead of you. It's you can see adorning the temple. You see depictions of many different tools. Stones and chisels are etched into the archway. To your left, right here, this thing, you see a tall stone wall separating this part of the city from that one, but there are arches that will allow you to pass through here.
Okay, might as well take most of that.
Okay. As you pass through the arch, you see more docks to your left. But these docks immediately pause, and you guys take a moment to stop and look at what it is that you see. These docks here are so far removed from the deep ocean water that you almost wonder how boats came to be docked there at all. And then looking out in the expanse, you can see exactly how. There are giant beasts, more dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurs like you had seen earlier, along with an Allosaurus and several Dimetrodons, shackled with riding harness. And you can see that they are using these beasts as a substitute for like a mammoth or an ox. And you can see ships that are being pulled into the dock here, and then they ride the dinosaurs out and they shackle the ships to the dinosaur, and then they use them to pull them into the dock and give them harbor. And then you're starting to realize that these fantastic creatures that are so alien to you are very much so just a part of the life here on Chult. Looking around the streets, you can see that there is a smaller horse-sized dinosaur with the curved talons on its feet being used to pull a cart. And there are several gnomes riding very small dinosaurs around the city. Didn't know it was going to be all Jurassic Park in this bitch. Further up from the western road, you can hear a great many sounds of people talking over each other.
That might be the Red Bazaar we're looking for.
Well, you walk up, and this thing here, you see a very large tent with several stalls lined up on both sides of the road, and there are vendors lined all the way up into a big fork in the road, and then they continue off in both directions. It certainly looks like a bazaar.
What's in the stalls?
When standing where you are and looking up the road, you can see traders and merchants. Some of them Cholton, but then you also see familiar brands and company logos from stores all along the Sword Coast. It looks like a lot of people from a lot of different... That fucking motorcycle. It's like... a lot of people from a lot of different areas all over the world have traveled here to trade.
We may have to visit this place again to see if there's any wares we may need before we head out. But for now, we should continue looking for the Thundering Lizard.
Okay. As you begin to walk by, vendors are shouting out at you, "Come visit the Grand Soak! Come see what we have to offer! Sir, you look like you need a weapon!" And they just shout all kinds of things. "Try some trusty plesiosaur meat! It's the tastiest food in all of Chult!"
I just keep on walking, avoiding making eye contact. I'm familiar with the, with the trade of peddlers, so I just keep on going.
Okay. As you continue to head south through the city, you see that the buildings are becoming much more condensed. The area is not quite as nice as the northern part had been. And then when you get to here, you see that there's a fork in the road, and you can head off to the east or continue to the south.
Okay, which way?
I'm thinking south.
Alright, works for me.
Alright, south it is.
Okay. As you head this way, you see, when you reach right here, you see a bunch of smaller tents draped together, and on these tents, the first thing that you see is the first thing that really sticks out to you is that there is blood everywhere. There are carts lining both sides of the road, and on these carts are monstrous slabs of meat. And on these slabs, there's just puddles of blood that have dripped over and stained the ground, the carts, everything red.
I think this might be the Red Bazaar.
Alright, can we see any signs for any inns or taverns around?
You can see two. There is a building to the north here that has a picture of a dinosaur covered in lightning bolts. And then behind you here, you can see another one that it's a picture of the inn itself has a picture of a building on it, and it says Kaya across the front.
Well, I think the first one we found is seems to be our place.
I agree. I start heading that way to walk in.
All right, approaching the Thundering Lizard, you see a billboard that is stuck to the front of the establishment, and it's covered in a great amount of flyers.
I'll take a look at them.
Okay. So the first one that you look at is the one I've just put up on the screen for everybody. It says, "If you need a guide to get you through the jungle alive, look no further. I was born in the jungle. I know its dangers well and how best to avoid them. Should you choose me, you may rest assured that your party is in safe hands. I charge 5 gold coins per day and require a 30-day payment up front. For those adventurers who aid me in a personal quest, I will waive my fee and guide them to places no one else has found. This quest will take us to Firefinger. The evil terror folk that roost atop Firefinger stole a wooden mask from me, and I want it back." Continuing to look at the board, you see a great number more of these similar signs, and each one of them has a sigil at the bottom.
Do I recognize the sigil?
You do not.
Well, perhaps we should inquire with it.
Agreed.
Okay. So going into the Thundering Lizard, the first thing that you see is the inside of the inn is actually quite small. There's not like a reception area. There's just a 5-foot room. Then there's some stairs leading off to the side to where the rest of the rooms might be. And then there's a reception desk. Walking in, there's a Cholton woman standing there, and she asks, "How can I help you?"
I reply back, if she has heard of Sandra Sylvain or if she has seen her come through here recently.
I think she returned to town several days ago. You may need to check with Wakanga Otamu. He's a merchant prince, and he'll be in the prince's villas to the north. She also said that you guys may be in need of a room, and that I should keep one on hold for you.
Yes, that is correct. How much is the stay here?
Well, it depends on how long you think you're going to need to stay. I'll tell you what. It's a gold a day, so for the next month it'll be 30 gold.
Well, I'm not sure if we'll be staying here for 30 days, like straight. So I'll turn to my party and ask them what course of action they think we should do.
Perhaps we should get in touch with our friend Syndra before we decide how long we're going to stay. But then, after saying that, I walk up to the counter and inquire about the flyer we saw outside.
Flyer?
Yes, on the post board outside, there was a local guide advertising her services on it. Do you know of her?
Oh, there are many guides here. Yeah. All the guides have to register with Jubal, and that's what all of those are. They're advertising leading expeditions out into the jungle. For many people will come to Chult to try and explore the jungles, and she makes air quotes, and she says, "Plunder its riches," but not many are successful. It is easy to become lost in the dense forest.
This registrar for these expeditions, does he hold office anywhere near the trade prince?
Jubal? He is a trade prince. Yeah, and she leans in and kind of whispers behind the back of her hand. She says, "Between you and me, I've heard that there was another group of guides that were offering services, and Jubal found out, and he said that any guide who does not register with him will be beaten, dismembered, and desiccated publicly. So, if I were you, I would just talk to Jubal."
Duly noted. All right, so should we set off?
So before we set off, I'll ask if she knows the exact location or the direction of where we should be exactly heading to find where the merchant princes are, of that Syndra went to.
Okay. when you came into town, did you see the Grand Souk?
Is that a building? Or,
No. Grand Souk is one of the three markets here. It's very big. It has a tent.
yes. Then we did pass that.
Okay. The merchants' villas they're on a hill above the Grand Souk.
Oh, I see.
Okay, that'll probably be the hill that we pass as well. So let's see. All right, what's the fastest route to get up the hill to the villa?
Oh, I do believe that if you're looking to get into Uptown, you're gonna have to travel back by the wharf. There's stairs that will lead you up there.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Perhaps, are there any charter or taxi services in town? Perhaps a cart pulled by some of those lizard creatures?
Absolutely. Yeah, actually, if you go right outside into the Red Bazaar, I'm sure you could find a ferryman somewhere there.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's go.
Okay, so you walk outside, and standing in the Red Bazaar, you see, again, it's just a horror show. Meats everywhere, the ground stained with blood, but then you also see several people that seem to be selling some of those animals, and beyond them, on the further side, you do spot a man that has a rickshaw that is harnessed to what seems to be a velociraptor.
Alright, let's flag him down and ask him what his rates are.
Okay. He says, well, where are you trying to go?
One ride to the merchants' villas in the upper part of the city, if you please.
Just you or all three?
All three.
Okay. 15 gold.
Alright, so should we each hand him 5 gold?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. You guys hand him the gold, and then you climb into the rickshaw, and it's a very, very tight squeeze with 3 of you, because Thok is so very large. And the elf smacks the raptor, and it gives out a squawk, and it starts running. And it is a very, very uncomfortable ride, because it is very bumpy, and your teeth are chattering and hitting each other the entire way. But it gets you to the merchant's villa very quickly, and it just stops right here. It doesn't move any further. It turns back and it's looking at you with its head cocked to the side, almost waiting for you to continue. Hey, Dimitri, how you doing, buddy? Been a while.
Okay, I guess it's on foot from here.
All right.
Okay. So, walking up... Cat? No, not now. You gotta get out of here. Just trying to walk up on my book. Approaching the villa, you're immediately approached by 3 very large Choltons carrying a very large, very ornamental shield and a strange-looking sword. They walk up and they block your path.
Okay, I think I walk up to them and say to them, we are here to see the trade prince. We are friends of Syndra Silvermane.
That means nothing to us. Nobody sees the trade princes without an appointment.
All right. Could we set up an appointment with you? Or perhaps one of his representatives would be available to speak to us?
We will tell you when your appointment would be.
All right. Would that be any time in the foreseeable future? We've come a long way and braved many perils to be here.
You see him look over his shoulder and he waves his hand. And then there are maybe 5 more Choltons that you had not immediately noticed who make themselves known. They step out of bushes. They stand up from on top the wall next to you. They all have bow and arrows drawn. He turns to you and he says, "Wait here, please." And he walks inside the large building. It's been quite some time. He hasn't came back yet.
I turn to my companions and say, what should we do if this wait is a little longer than we have the patience for?
Knock on the door.
We're past that point, but I'm letting you guys make the first move.
Okay. The man comes back and he says, "Wakanga will see you in the morning."
Turn to my compatriots and see what they think of that.
Well, we at least have an appointment. But, maybe, and I say this very loudly so the other guy can hear, I guess maybe the death curse can wait another day.
The guard looks up to you and he says, "What do you speak of the death curse?"
We were contracted to help take care of the problem and correct the situation, but if Wakanga doesn't have time to see us today, maybe we can just wait another day, let more people die, and might get to it later at a later time.
He begins to laugh at you halfway through your statement. "Oh, you are surely mistaken. Wakanga cares not for the death curse or the meaningless lives that are lost." That motorcycle fucked me up. He says, "If anything, the trade princes profit off of the death curse. People are so scared of their own inevitable demise that they buy more of our magic tinctures and potions than ever before." Says, "No, I know not why you need to speak with him. All I know is that you are not important enough for him to see now, and he will greet you in the morning." He waves his hand and all the archers begin to recede into the bushes, and they go into the building and close the doors behind them.
Maybe we should just wait at the inn for Syndra. I'm not so sure I'd stomach the presence of such a man.
kill them all.
Alright, I don't have Twitch chat open, but whoever said that, I'm tempted to agree with you.
As you guys are standing there with a sour and disgruntled look on your face, cat, don't bite my book. You are approached by a man, and the man looks. What the fuck is it? Nope. There we are. The man looks like this. He's holding a book, and you can see he was standing on a soapbox a little bit away, and he comes up to you and he says, the merchant princes weren't too receptive, were they?
Apparently not.
He says, yeah, they're a funny bunch. They do things like this, just like, it's a way of asserting their authority, letting you know that you're under them. Don't let it bother you.
I don't know, I might just a little bit.
Hey, it's nothing a drink or two can't help. I know a great spot if you're buying.
Does that sound good to you, Cade? Huh?
He had my attention as soon as he said drink.
Agreed.
Okay. So he starts walking, and he goes and he picks up his little soapbox, and you see that he's got a couple copies of books, and he starts putting them into the box, and then he carries them and he says, "Follow me." And as you are walking across, he doesn't go far. He just goes around the bend and into this building here. And you can see the signpost above the door denotes that this tavern is called the Tumescent Rooster.
My, that title sure gets me hungry. So, can I see what the title of his books are?
Yes. He sees you trying to take a peek at his books, and he immediately thrusts one into your hands. And he says, "I guess introductions are in order. My name's Volo, and I'm here trying to sell my new book. It's called Volo's Guide to Monsters, and it has all the knowledge adventurers may ever need for braving the world abroad. Fortunately, it's not selling very well, which is why I'm here on this island." He starts to chuckle to himself.
Sounds like some useful information. So I open the book and maybe turn a few pages. Does it seem very informative?
The first couple pages that you see talk a lot about beholders, their creation, and where they come from. Talks a little bit about how terrifying it is to encounter them. You begin to understand that this book is less informative than it is a account of Volo's own adventures, and all of the things he describes are from his perspective.
Well, it would seem like an interesting read anyway. How much do you charge?
Well, sir, and he gives you a quick eyeball up and down. He says, my distributor would hang me if I sold them for any less than 50 gold. But for you, I could do 37.
Mm,
And you buy
Alright.
me the beer.
All right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pay it. There's. Okay, so yeah, I hand him the gold and plus a little more for a drink. So like.
Okay. So you've purchased one copy of Volos Guide to Monsters. And Volo takes his box and sets them on the ground next to him and sits down at a table and grabs the drink that Sarpedon purchased for him. He motions at the 3 empty chairs and wants you guys to take a seat.
I'll sit.
Order a drink and sit.
Yeah, I forego the drink and just sit down and flip through a few pages while I'm listening to our conversation.
Okay. As you guys sit down and you order your drink, and then my notes. What you get is not the ale that you were expecting. They bring you a wooden cup, and it's full of this very thick amber-colored liquid, I'm gonna call it, but it's not quite the consistency of a liquid. It's a bit thicker, like a syrup.
Bottoms up.
Okay. As you drink this strange concoction, you can tell that it's very bittersweet. It's got a distinct taste of honey and sugar, but it's also fermented, like alcohol, and it's a very strange taste. You're not quite sure if you like it or not. Just realized that my people are fucked up. Not like it matters. Cameras aren't working. And Volo looks up. He says, "That's Tej. It's the only form of alcohol you're really gonna get here unless you're a merchant prince. They can afford different wines and things, but for most of us, this is it."
Well, I mean, it's a strange place, strange liquor. All seems to coincide.
It's liquor. What else do you need to know?
That's racist. What? That he said it was strange. Wow. Oh, who? Oh, damn! I can't even come up with a good joke. All right. Anyway, so Volo looks at you guys. He puts out his hands and he says, "So what brings you all the way to Chol?"
Death curse.
Ah, so you guys are friends of Syndra's, huh?
Acquaintance, but okay.
Yeah. You know, I try not to get involved in the day-to-day, activities outside of these walls. My adventuring days are long behind me, and I'm much happier here selling books. But I understand that her and the Harpers are trying to determine the location of the death curse. And I've heard them refer to something called the Soul Monger. It's a ghastly sounding thing, isn't it? And he lets out a bray of obnoxious laughter and claps Kate on the back.
So have you heard of this Soul Monger before? Do you know much about it?
Oh, I don't know anything. All I know is what I've heard people talking about as they come and go.
I look up from my reading and ask him, do you know Syndra? Have you communicated with her recently?
I've seen her in passing. Bitch wouldn't buy my book. That's all I know.
Well, we're trying to reunite with her and determine our next step as soon as possible. Apparently she holds enough clout around here to be able to talk to this trade prince.
Yeah, she would. She used to be an adventurer back in her prime too. But I don't know what she's done to get in with the prince, but must have been something, you know what I mean? And it gives you a wink, alluding to something. Does make you feel exactly comfortable.
Well, if you ever see her again, let her know that we're looking for her.
I can do that, but when all those fellas turned you away, didn't they say that you had a meeting in the morning?
I suppose, but I'm not sure this trade prince is the sort we really want to consort with. Perhaps it would be simpler just to correspond with Syndra and depart this place, see if we can navigate the jungles of Chult.
I wouldn't recommend that, friend. Not at all. Then he starts taking another drink. Says, jungles here are far more treacherous territory than anything you've probably encountered before. The jungle's so dense and thick, it's incredibly easy to get lost. There's venomous bugs. There's hordes of undead roaming about. Not to mention the frickin' dinosaurs. Says, I hate even thinking about leaving.
Well, we might not have a choice if we want the death curse to end, but from what I hear, there's many guides in the area who were born on the island and could help us navigate the jungles.
That is true. That is true. But you know what? One of those guides, they frequent this bar all the time, right? Badass little dwarf dude. He's got scars all over his body. You can tell he's been in a row or two. And here's the kicker. He's got one arm. Right? He got attacked by a red dragon. And the way he tells it, he killed the fucker for taking his arm. Like, if you were going to hire a guide, that's who I got my money on.
I'm gonna, like, at the mention of all this, like, I'm gonna side eye like Cade and be like, "Hey, Dragon Rider, maybe that might be your new best friend."
Well, as long as it's not another glowing green dragon.
Volo is starting to kind of sway in his seat, and he perks up. And he's like, you could check the board outside the bar. I think they have the flyers out there too. Jubal puts them freaking everywhere.
Alright then, what I suggest we do is maybe we could go out and read some of those flyers and Maybe wait outside the bar and see if Syndra passes down the road on her way back.
Wait, Dragon Man. You do that in the morning. Tonight, we drink until we sleep. And he motions to the bar, and he holds up the number 4, and then the bartender brings over 4 more cups of Tej. And she sets it on the table and looks at Volo, and then he points at Sarpedon.
I'll pay for this one.
It's 16 copper, by the way.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, if we can't do anything till morning, bottoms up.
Okay. So you guys keep drinking the syrupy liquid until you are all quite inebriated. And the...
I think I'd take it a bit light. I'm not a heavy drinker.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be taking it light on this one as well. I'm going to be watching Volo and Cade pretty much go back at it.
Okay, alright. So, Cade and Volo decide to try and drink the night away while the other 2 of you try to keep your keep your wits about you. But several hours go by, and it looks like the elf is trying to close out the bar. And Volo stands up and almost falls over. Stands up again and says, "Come on, guys! I know where we can sleep."
All right. I suppose you and I, Thok, should maybe help Cade to his feet, and we follow Volo, I guess.
Okay. He walks outside the bar, and he turns around, and he walks to the side of the bar, and he just kind of falls over in the dirt of the road. Cade stands up, and he's surprisingly steady for as much as he's been drinking. Can't just phase through the wall. What's wrong with you?
So, you say he left the bar and turned to the right, and then went to the side of the bar.
Yep, there's a narrow
I'd assume
alley.
Is it under me or underneath Sarpedon?
Underneath Sarpedon. See where the stairs are?
Okay.
Yep, he's just kind of laying in the middle of the road.
Well, when he said he knew a place to sleep, I didn't think he was referring to the middle of the bloody road.
All right. Do we see an inn within a stone's throw of where he fell over?
Looking around, it's quite dark, and you can't really make out any of the signs on the inns. That, and I guess you don't know how to read Chultan. Anywho, no, there's not an inn in your immediate area.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to carry Volo, so I'm going to actually pick him up and try and carry him with us.
Okay.
Yeah, I do the same with. Well, Cade's still on his feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm on my feet.
All right then, I say a bit disappointedly. I was really hoping I'd get to toss you around like a horseshoe, but I guess I'll have to wait till the next time.
Okay. So the 3 of you, and where are you gonna head?
Maybe just try to catch a ride back to the Thundering Lizard.
you don't see any transportation around.
Thought, do you think you can make the journey with Volo over your shoulder? On foot?
Yeah, I feel like I can.
Alright, then there's our plan.
Okay. So as you begin walking slowly, because Cade is still quite drunk and he has to watch his step, and Thok is carrying another being, you begin to walk slowly to the inn. Wait, where did he go? Is it me, or did Cade's token just disappear?
It was under mine.
I still don't see it. Anyway, you begin walking. There he is. You begin walking to the Thundering Lizard, and you're almost run out of the road by a teenager riding a colorfully painted lizard. They almost knock you over, and you hear him shout, "Get out of the way!"
I'm screaming obscenities back, telling him was like to watch where he's driving or riding this stupid creature.
Okay. You guys begin to walk down the road again, and then you see that same boy here, except next to him is another boy on another painted up dinosaur, and the two of them are almost standing in the saddle that they're in, lined up all along the road. You see people holding out sacks of coins, and they're shouting and cheering, and then you see another man in the front of them with his hands in the air. The man with his hands in the air shouts out, "Are all bets in?" And then he lowers his hands, and the two riders are off, and they begin racing down the roads around the villa. All the spectators are cheering and yelling, and some of them fighting amongst each other, and they begin to walk off after the riders.
I keep on my way. I'm not really interested in any spectacle tonight.
Yeah, since I've got Volo, I'm continue on it as well.
Okay. The guys are like, "Nope, I don't care about all this nonsense. We need to find a bed." Okay. So then you travel the rest of the way to town, and you arrive at the Thundering Lizard with no further events. Walking up, you find that the woman who was there previously is no longer there. There is now a stocky man manning the counter. He asks, "What do you want?"
Accommodations for 4 for the night, please.
4?
Yes.
For one night?
As far as we know, we may be staying longer.
Well, the shortest I'll rent the room is for the week. So do you want 4 for a week?
Maybe the 3 of us for the week, and can we have a guest for one night? We're not sure if our comatose friend is going to be staying here.
He's like, "So is it 3 or 4 then?"
For 3, and I'll pay for the 4th one. I mean, I kind of got us into this. I paid for the damn drinks.
Okay. It'll be 5 gold then.
Okay, 5 gold in total?
Yep.
Okay, I hand him the gold.
Okay. He gives you a key, and he says it's going to be the 3rd room on the left.
And I take the key and let's get settled down in our room.
Alright. Walking into the room, you notice that it's a very nice room. It smells good, and it is decorated very much like a lot of what you've seen in the town so far, very brightly colored. It looks very extravagant. However, it only has 1 bed.
I turn to my companions and what should we do about this?
I'm gonna pull out my bedroll, go over to a corner, and make myself comfortable.
Yeah, I plan to use my bedroll as well. But with Volo, I'm like, we can just set him in the corner. Like, he don't care.
He was fine in the road. He'll be fine in the corner.
But I'm also going to look over to Cade. I'm like, hey, you want to do something fun? And ask him to get the manacles out so we can put them on Volo.
Go dig into my pack and find the manacles.
All right.
So once we get the manacles on them, I'm also going to take some of my rope and bind them as well.
Oh my god.
I don't know what you guys are up to, but it's getting kinky. All right. So you shackle him and tie him up. And what now?
I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm gonna take the bed. I mean, I paid for the accommodations. I might as well enjoy them.
Works for me.
It works.
50 Shades of Volo. All right. So you guys go to sleep. Party should already be rested. And you awake in the morning to a sound that is very much like this. Volo's sitting in the corner, thumping up and down, trying to get out of the restraints.
I look at Thok and Cade as they're waking up and say, are you going to let him out, or do I have to be the responsible one?
Well, the Beholder paid us quite a bit of coin for him, so maybe we should take him back.
Yeah, but the slavers were offering us more.
I agree. Yeah. More coin does sound better.
Volo's eyes go wide with panic. What? What are you talking about?
Okay, I think I walk up to him and use my claws to cut him out of his rope restraints and say, settle down, Volo. My friends were just playing a very immature and childish prank.
I don't think this prank is very funny at all.
Well, you would if you were on our side.
He holds out his hands, almost like he's demanding you take the shackles off.
Alright, go take the manacles off him.
Once his hands are free, he kind of rubs his wrist for a moment. He just glares at you. And he's like, last time I fucking... And you can't quite hear what he says, but he's storming out of the inn.
I holler behind him like, all right, see you tomorrow.
He puts up his arm in a very, very lewd gesture, and he says, "You better be buying."
Most likely.
All right, so now the three of you are standing there in the room, and after your bouts of laughter dies down, what would you like to do?
We've got an appointment we gotta keep.
Agreed. Are we going to take another rickshaw like last time?
That was bumpy as hell.
Yeah, and honestly, we might get there faster if we hoof it.
All right. But I might have you two might want to go on first. I think I might have an inquiry I'd like to follow, if you'll indulge me.
All right.
Yep.
So Cade and Thok are going to travel to the Merchant Prince's villa. We'll address that first, and then we'll check in with Sarpedon and what he's up to. So, you travel through town. You approach the merchant's villa, and on your way into town, you can hear some of the conversations in the bazaar are kind of catch your ear. People talking about a dinosaur man hunting in the woods. It's just something in passing, though. And then you continue up to the merchant villa. Once there, you're again met by a regiment of Cholton guards.
I speak up and say, we have an appointment with Wakanga Otamu.
Ah, yes, from yesterday. Fine. But, you must wait here while he prepares for you.
And exactly how long does that take?
They begin to laugh. And then they walk inside. Okay. You guys are sitting there, and the guards are just standing there in front of the door, shield resting on the ground, sword in hand. Just standing there.
So I try to spark up conversation if what they've heard about the death curse.
They just glare at you. What an asshole place. Burning the entire place. I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'm gonna be right back. Meow. Yeah, what? You want out there? Come on out there.
You know, Kate, if we weren't such good people, we could probably torch this whole place.
Oh, don't tempt me. I'm already half tempted.
Okay. As you guys are standing there, you see someone exit the merchant prince's villa. He walks up to you, and he says, Wakamba's other engagement has been extended. He will be with you as soon as he can. And he turns around and walks inside.
You know, Cade, I'm really wanting to burn this place down.
Well, that may be what you want to do. What are you going to do?
I'm thinking about going back to the bar at this point. What do you think, Cade?
Going back to the bar would be safer than what I was thinking.
Burn it. Torch it. Alright, so you guys are going to head to the bar. Get some Bernie alcohol. Well, it's a syrup. I don't know if it's going to be very flammable. Alright, so is that what you guys are going to do?
Yeah, we'll go sit there for a little bit.
Yeah, probably check back every, 30 minutes, you think?
Okay, so you're going to check back in about half an hour. In the meantime, Sarpedon. So you hung back from the rest of the group, and you're standing there in the Red Bazaar. What would you like to do?
Can I see any of those taxi drivers in the street?
You can see one, yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to go up to him and ask him, these creatures that you use to pull your rickshaws, where could one go about acquiring one for himself?
He doesn't say anything. He just points down the road. And you see another merchant who has maybe 4 or 5 behind him in ropes. And then hanging on a wall next to him, you see saddles and other types of gear used for the mounting of animals. You know, barding, bits and bridles, things of that nature.
All right. I go up to this merchant and ask him, how much would it be for one of these riding animals?
He gives you a quick glance and he says, well, I can certainly sell you one of my beasts, but are you sure that you can handle it? These are vicious creatures. They're not easily tamed.
I say to him, I think I'll be willing to give it a shot. These creatures don't look too far removed from Dragonborn. Perhaps I can find some kinship with it.
These are not dragons there, you dolt. These are dinosaurs. It's a different beast entirely.
But still reptilian of persuasion. I'll at least give it a chance.
Okay. It's up to you. It'll cost you 300 gold to buy a raptor. And then you're also going to need other things. If you plan on riding him, you're going to need a saddle. If you want him to be able to carry things, you're going to need bags. So, what exactly are you looking to buy?
I think for now I'll just take a raptor with a saddle. I won't be carrying much with me besides what I already have on my back.
Alright, that'll be 360 gold.
Alright, I fish around in my pockets and hand him the gold.
Okay. After you pay him, he gives you a dinosaur.
Okay, just give me a minute. I'm trying to subtract the gold.
You're good. It's expensive. By design. Wait, those are all the handouts. Where are the actual tokens? You're not sure if it's an amazing saddle or a crappy inn. Why not both?
Alright, so, I have the creature in my reins. Out of
Before
character.
you walk away, he warns you again. Do not ever leave it unbridled, even for a moment, because it will surely run away.
I'll be sure to follow that advice. Thank you. So I take him in my reins. Now,
Okay.
out of character, do I need to roll some sort of animal handling check to mount it, or?
You would, yes, and it's going to be like every time you. Are you proficient in animal handling? Out of curiosity.
No, not really.
Alrighty.
Well, this should be interesting.
Am I missing it? Medium beast. There we go. So there is I don't know if it popped up or not.
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay. You can do it. Animal handling 18. Alright, so you climb up onto its back, and it shifts for a moment as you climb on top of it, but then it waits patiently.
Alright, I now ride my new mount over to where Thok and Kate were off to.
Okay. As you ride up there, the first thing you notice is that Thok and Cade are not there.
Knowing them, they're probably at the bar. So I go to where we were drinking last night and see if they're there.
Okay. You're heading into the bar?
I think I'm just going to park outside of it and maybe call out to them inside the bar. Say, and see if they're there.
Cade, you think you hear someone shouting your name?
Doc, did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Alright, I'm gonna go out and take a look.
Walking outside, you see Sarpedon riding a dinosaur.
You know you better not let Reptar see you do that. He might take offense to that.
I'm not so sure I really care. But, what was the word from the trade prince?
His previous appointment ran late, so we have to wait.
How long is this going to take? I was thinking about simply setting fire to the place. I don't know. What about you?
Okay, you and Thok need to get out of my head.
In all honesty, though, I think maybe I'm not sure. We still need to correspond with Syndra before we do anything. But we don't even know where to start looking for the source of this curse. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking we need to head back and see if he's ready for us anyways, so might as well head back over there.
Alright. Do you want to lift up on my new scaly friend?
The last time I was on top of something with scales, it didn't turn out too well.
Duly noted.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to walk.
So the three of you head back to the merchant villa, and you see that same head guard there, and he is looking around confused. He sees you approaching. He says, "There you are." He said, "You are about 30 seconds away from losing your opportunity to meet with Wakanga."
Well, then you better show us in so we can get the meeting over with.
You, short and ugly one, you do not get to make demands here. Follow me. Walking into... I gotta get my notes. Stop improvising, Kippa. Walking into the main building, you can see that this place is extravagant. It's got fine silk tapestries on all the walls, and all of the main fixtures are gilded. You can immediately see that this is probably the main home of the of all the merchant princes. The merchant a merchant prince immediately approaches you, and on his side is Syndra. Let me check and see. Do I have a handout for you? I don't know if I do. Named NPCs? Nope. Oh, yep. Wakanga Otamu. He bows down, and he says, "I am humbly at your service. How can I assist you, gentlemen?"
Yes, I look at Syndra and nod to her and say, Syndra indicated that you'd be able to assist us with helping us end this death curse.
He holds up his finger as if he's asking you to wait. He says, "I believe you may be mistaken, friend." And then he holds his palm out as if he's gesturing to Syndra. Syndra is a dear friend of mine. I know of her affliction, and I have agreed to give her a place to rest in comfort until her hired help solves the problem. I am assuming you are to be the hired help?
That we are.
Well, then I have nothing more for you. Syndra, however, I believe has some new information, and you see him you see him kind of nod to her that she has permission to speak. And she begins saying that since the last time she had met with you, that the Harpers had received some more information. That they believe there is an artifact somewhere on the island of Chult that is drawing all the souls of the dead to it. And she explains that when you died in Vandelver, and as you recall, she had explained this then, she could see your soul being pulled towards Chult. And they now believe that this object is storing all of the souls. We do not know why. We do not know who created it or for what purpose. But the rumors that we keep hearing is something called Omu. We don't know what it means though.
Okay, I'll make note of Omu.
Okay. Syndra looks around at the group. Says, how have you fared since coming into Chult?
Traveling here was a little rough.
Well, I would recommend that if you're going to try and find this Omu, that you need to first get supplies. Make sure you take with you plenty of water. 100% of the water that is on the entire island comes from the rain. And who knows if you'll find a fresh source out in the wilds. Also, it would behoove you to hire a guide. There's no guarantee that wandering out into the jungle that you would be able to find your way back. Luckily, Wakanga's fellow trade prince has established many guides here in town, and you can find postings at any bar or inn.
All right then, we'll commission a guide and be on our way then.
We need a destination. No point in hiring a guide if we don't know where it is we gotta go.
She speaks up again. I don't know about a destination, but if you can hire a guide that's brave or willing, then you can just make exploratory, expeditions into the jungle, trying to find this Omu. At this point, any knowledge, any information would be useful. And I will continue to have the Harpers looking as well.
How will we get in contact with you easily, or even through the Harpers, to be able to get information back to you as we make it through our expedition?
Wakanga speaks up. He says, Syndra will remain here. She's not well enough to travel. I will let my guards know that if you were to return, you are having my word that you will be allowed in right away. And I do apologize for their behavior. A lot of the island natives believe that we merchant princes are of a higher status than all the other people who come, and that we deserve a certain amount of respect. I may not personally believe that, but they tend to, what is the word in common? Harass. They harass people because they believe it is what I want.
Well, no harm done so far. Thank you very much for your aid.
If that is all, gentlemen, I will take my leave. And him and Syndra begin to walk away.
Alright, so out of the two guides we heard of, which seems the best to you?
Who are you talking to?
Oh, I'm talking to Cade and Thok.
Okay.
Well, I believe there were more than just the two that we've heard about. Maybe we should check out the rest of them to see about if there's other paths we can take besides those two.
Alright then, I'll go to the bar we were at previously and get some more details on the dwarvish fellow.
You're going to the tumescent rooster?
Right.
The swollen cock? What? Okay. So, standing outside the bar, you again see another bulletin board that has multiple signs affixed to it. And okay, so far you've only seen Azaka. Looking at it, the first one that jumps out to you is this one. It says, Hugh Hackenstone. I've stood atop every mountain in Chult. I know every gorge and crevice, every plateau and trail. My memory is an iron trap, and I forget nothing. Trust a dwarf, I always say, because a dwarf will never steer you wrong. Fearless I am. There's no dragon, beast, or undead horror that scares me. You want a guide who runs away at the first sign of danger? No! You want a dwarf, and I'm the toughest dwarf around. Red Dragon bit off my arm, yet here I stand. Takes more than a dragon to stop Hugh Hackenstone. I charge 5 gold coins a day and expect a 30-day payment up front. Best coin you'll ever spend, I promise you. Pretty convincing sell. Reaching out and grabbing for another guide flyer. This one catches your eye. It says, while the lure of pillaging the antiquity of Chult is a temptation, I appeal to those who find fulfillment in doing actual good in the world. I seek to rid the jungle of evil. There are many ruins and ancient temples that must be reclaimed, so that the spirits of nature can return to their sacred places and live in peace. There are evil impostors who seek to blind you with the promises of gold, but will only guide your throats to their blade. My rates are standard, 5 gold pieces a day, with a 30-day payment up front. A small portion goes to pay off the merchant Prince Jobal. The rest I will give to charity. The dwarf sounds like he's going out looking for fights. Maybe. Another handout. This one catches your eye because it has 2 people on it. Why pay for one guide when you can have 2 for the same price? We have the smarts, the goods, and our own Triceratops. Treasure abounds. When we're done leading you to all the ancient sites and sacred places that we know of, you'll be swimming in gold and magic. All the other guides will lead you in circles and make you do all the work. Don't be fooled. When we return to Port Nyanzaru, you'll have tales of fortunes enough to last you a lifetime. Our price is 5 gold pieces a day with a 30-day payment up front, but we're glad to reduce our rate for equal shares of treasure found. Any thoughts so far, or do you want to look at the last couple?
I'm thinking we look at the last couple because, like, the last one sounded good, but these guys here just sound like idiots.
Okay. This one, another dwarf, except this guy is an albino. So, let's see what he has to say. The jungle is my home. I know it well. I can guide you anywhere in Chult for a fee of 5 gold pieces a day. If adventure is what you seek, join my quest to reclaim Hrakamar, my clan's ancestral forge. A volcanic eruption forced us to abandon it many years ago. The fire newts that have since taken over must be driven out or destroyed. At the very least, we must sneak in and recover a relic known as Moradin's Gauntlet. The fire newts must not be allowed to keep it. If you love dwarven kind, then hear my plea, and join me in returning Hrakamar to its rightful owners. I will waive my fee for your promise of assistance. Dudes that will lead you to places and loot all the shit before you get to go in. We'll steal all your stuff while you're in some cave looking for crap. Alright. And then there is River Mist and Flask of Wine. This one says, beware Jobal and his no-good flunkies. That merchant prince is as trustworthy as a sack of snakes, as are most of his quote-unquote guides. If you choose us, we will never lead you astray. River and Flask are up to the task. That's our motto. Chult is our playground. We're fast, reliable, and know what we're doing. 5 gold pieces per day and 30-day advance is what Jobal's flunkies demand. We're happy to serve as guides for only 4 gold pieces a day with no payment up front. Even better, we'll waive the fee entirely for equal shares of whatever treasures we help find. And take the Khajiit. Khajiit has wares if you have coin. And then this is the last one. I've led many expeditions through the wilds of Chult. I know secret trails that appear on no map. Hire others at your own peril. Azaka and Iku have led expeditions into the jungle that never returned. Farul and Gondolo are charlatans, plain and simple. Old Hugh suffers from mad monkey fever. I'm sure of it. Musharib is an albino dwarf, and they're not to be trusted. And I hear tell that River Mist and Flask of Wine owe money to the Zentarum. 5 gold pieces per day is a cheap price to pay for your lives. Spend your gold wisely.
Kind of poisoning the well there a bit.
All right, so there's a lot of very interesting choices there. Obviously, this is going to be a tough decision to make. Which ones are you thinking of? Well, I want to check in with each of you and see which one you think is good, and then I'll let you guys discuss. So, Sarpedon.
Well, originally I was going to advocate for Hugh Hackenstone, the rough and tumble dwarf, but I'm not sure how he'd react to getting help from a red dragonborn.
Yep, I didn't even think of that. Thank you for putting that in my head.
And Musharib and what was her? Azaka, they both have personal vendettas on this mission, which might get in the way of ours. I don't really trust the 2 cat creatures. Not that I have anything against them, but
Racist.
they seem a bit, too overconfident, like Hugh was. I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe of Azaka, the one we found first. She says she was born on Chult. And, or maybe Aku. I mean, she also seems to be a native, but she said she had knowledge of temples around Chult, and I'm betting that the artifact we're looking for resides in some sort of creepy crypt or spooky temple. I'd say so far my money's on her. Echo.
Okay. Kate?
Well, I was leaning towards Hackenstone, but for the opposite reason that Sarpedon says no. I wanted to see the reaction between the Red Dragonborn and the Dwarf.
Okay. Any other feelings about any of the other ones, or you want Hackenstone?
Well, there's always Flask of Wine, but that's because he's got wine in his name. The other option would be someone that goes outside of the actual trade prince, which I think Salada doesn't say it, but it seems like she does. The way she's like trying to poison us against everyone else.
Well, outside of paying the trade prince, Eku and River and Flask were the ones that make it very clear that they do not like working for the Jobel. All right. What about you, Thok?
My thoughts was in order. I was thinking Musharib, then Hugh. Well, actually, Iku, then Hugh. But I think I'm leaning more towards Iku, honestly.
Okay. All right. So we know what you guys what your options are. Nobody wanted to check out for Rule and Gondolo. And everybody seems to be very suspicious of Salida. So, which one is it going to be? Oh, it's like The Bachelor. It's like, oh, who are they going to pick?
And honestly, from my character, from Thok's standpoint, I think Iku would probably be the best choice for him.
Okay. So, here's what we're gonna. So, I think everybody has a clear pick in their mind of who they want. I don't think everybody has the same person. So, you guys have to talk to each other and try to convince them to pick the one that you want. Kiki.
Okay, so we each in character need to talk to each other and try to convince and settle on one person?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Thok, what are your thoughts?
Well, Iku sounds like somebody who's wanting to, whose path aligns with ours, with trying to correct possibly this death curse that's such evil within this entire jungle here. Maybe she would probably be the best guide to lead us to where we need to go.
I'd say I'm generally in agreement. She is a native of the island, and she could possibly have goals that align with ours. What do you think, Cade?
Well, I know you're not going to like my choice because he probably doesn't like Red Dragons, but I'm leaning towards Hackenstone because basically when shit starts and the fight breaks out, we want a guide we know can fight. We don't want one to go running and then we got to spend the next 3 days trying to find our guide because we're lost.
That is a good point. But I'm not sure. From the looks of him, he seems to have taken a bit one too many cleaves to the skull, if you ask me.
He may have taken one too many, but he's still doing the job.
Alright. Well, I'm out of character real quick. Do you think, I think in general we settled between these two. Could we, like, roll for them? Or flip a coin or something?
How about we try to contact each of them and interview them?
Yeah, alright.
Okay. So you'd like to try and meet with these people. Let me scoot them off screen. Alright. On the back of the cards, gives you a brief location description of where you might be able to speak with them. On Hugh Hackenstone's handout, it says that he frequently hangs out in the Beggars Palaces. And then on Iku's handout, it says that you can frequently find her in the Temple of Gond.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I read the wrong line. The Temple of Savris.
Well, I think I should go and interview Hackenstone just to see if working with a Red Dragonborn would be a deal breaker for him.
Well, either way, I want to see that.
Okay. So, the Beggars Palace. Where's that? I mean, I know where it is, but your characters don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, I was gonna ask the barkeep there for the directions.
Why would you want to go there?
We're looking to interview this Hugh Hackenstone as a possible guide into the jungles of Cholt.
Well, the Beggars' Palaces are no place for ordinary men. Just be forewarned, it's a very rough and tumble part of town. Yes?
Would you like pizza?
Like good pizza? Or
Regular $5 pizza. It's that or Mexican again, which you will be eating for lunch tomorrow regardless.
Ah, shit. Yeah, pizza. Cool. Sounds good.
Jason's here.
Oh, is he?
He is.
Tell him to quit being a weenie. Alright, anyway. So, you're going to go... Well, she distracted me with food. Alright, Beggar's Palace. You're going to head to the very northwesternmost part of town. You're going to see a very large wooden gate. It's going to be heavily guarded, and you're going to have a bit of a hard time convincing the guards to open the gate to let you into the Beggar's Palace. As I've said, this is not exactly a very nice part of town. But
Sounds perfect.
if you do make it there, you should find Hugh Hackenstone in some bar or other.
All right, perfect.
So, you guys begin heading north. I lost sight of you guys. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Yeah. And standing here, you can see that already the town is starting to look a little bit worse for wear. There's houses in disarray, rubble in the streets, and this is the large wooden gate. Pizza. I know, right? I'm so hungry.
All right, so I guess I'll head up towards the gate. Is the gate open or
Closed.
all right? Is there any way for me to signal to somebody on the other side?
There's people on this side. They're just standing there, keeping the door closed.
All right, so I guess I'll go up to them and ask them that I need entry into this location to locate my guide, Hugh Hackenstone.
The two guards look at each other, and they say, "You know, I'm not supposed to open this door for anybody." But as he says that, he's holding out his hand.
I'll give him 5 gold.
He continues again. He's like, "I'm sorry, sir. I just can't open this door for anyone."
That first payment was enough.
Yeah, see, again, can't just roll for it. Doesn't do anything.
Sorry, no, I moved my mouse and it clicked on it.
He's like, "No, I don't think it was." I don't... And what payment would you be referring to, sir? He drops your coin on the ground and again states, nobody's supposed to go through here.
Okay, I'm getting really sick of these guys' manners. I think we just... Oh...
Yeah, he just wanted a high five. That's right, Snall. He's just trying to be friendly.
I assume Kate is fairly close to me at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're thinking. Do it.
No.
I'm going to grab Kate and just throw him right at the guard.
No, throw him over the wall.
Walls are 25 feet high. I don't think he's going to throw him that tall, that high.
Yep, throw him at the guard.
Okay. Alright. No roll is needed. Alright? You pick him up. You throw him at the guard. Cade and the guard tumble onto the ground, and Cade is standing above him with his weapon at the ready. The other guard, not even phased. He reaches into a pouch, and he pulls out a silver token, and he hands it to you.
Looks like you won a prize, Thok. You could do this for a living.
Looking at it, you can see that the token is very plain, except it has what appears to be a skull of a triceratops on it. Once you look at it, the guard tells you, this is your warning.
I'll drop it on the ground.
The guard makes no he doesn't even acknowledge that you didn't keep the token. He says, foreigners should probably learn how we do things in Chult before you disturb the peace.
Yes, well, I guess the merchant prince Wakanga will have to hear of this and let him know that we're not allowed into sections of the city when we're trying to assist him with our situations.
He points to the coin, and he says, that is a warning from me to you with the power of the merchant princes. They will not side with you if they hear of this. Because by disturbing the peace, you undermine their rule of law. Do not do it again. And then he points to the door behind him. This door separates all of the vagrants and criminals from the rest of us here in Port Nyanzaru. If you break the law, you live outside the walls, in the savage lands, where you can be eaten and destroyed by any manner of monster. Trust me when I tell you, foreigners, do not be forced out.
You can't force us out. We're trying to get out.
The only way this door opens is if I have a direct word from Jobel.
Turn back to Caden Thok and saying, do you think this guy is really worth all the trouble? We've got another guide here within the city walls. He'd probably be willing to go with us.
No, I don't think. I honestly don't think this guy is going to be of any use to us at this point.
Fine.
Fine. As you guys start to turn away, the guard shouts out to you again. Take your coin. Remember my warning. And if you need to come into the Beggars Palace, you talk to Jobel.
No, I'm not picking up the coin.
Yeah, I might pick it up just in case, but I tried to do it maybe surreptitiously. Would I need to do a sleight of hand for that?
Yeah, if you want to try and do it without being noticed, sleight of hand. I'm not sure, Ikora. Hey, you scoop down and pretend to tie your shoe, and then quickly pick up the coin and put it in your pouch.
Awesome.
Okay. So, now what?
Well, let's go find either this other guide or Jobel.
Well, knowing how hard it is to get a hold of this trade prince, I think we should try for the other guide.
Okay. So, what are you doing?
Heading towards the temple or whatever it was.
Yeah, didn't we see it on our way in? The big building covered in brass and stuff?
You saw a temple, but I mistakenly said that she was at the temple of Gond. She is at the temple of Savras. I don't know if you remember the correction. The temple you saw on your way in was the temple of Gond.
Alright then, let's try to ask a local where the right temple we're looking for is.
Okay. You see a humanoid walking on the street, and he as he's walking around, you see him looking over his shoulder often, and you see that he is actually well armed. He has at least a sword on his hip and on his back, and he's carrying a bow and arrows. He almost walks right into you.
I say to him, you seem to be as lost as we are, friend.
He looks warily at you and he says, Yeah, I'm lost. I just be on my way.
Alright then. You don't look like a local. Would you happen to know where the temple of, what was it called, Thog? The temple of, Severs?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's top tier. It's across the bridge from the Merchant's Hall.
Alright then, we'll be on our way. Thank you for the directions. Alright, so is it like...
Yep, that's it exactly.
Alright, let's hope the guards we met earlier are in a better mood.
Okay. The guards see you and they let you through without a problem. Alright. Well, approaching the temple, you see that there, outside the temple, there is a huge...
Finally weekend and I turned sick. Happy
Mr.
weekend.
Corey, thank you for the resub. 4 months already. Holy shit. How you doing? I hate to hear you're feeling sick, but hello. Anyway, focus. All right. So approaching the temple, outside there is a giant crystalline orb, and you see a couple monks and clerics outside. As you approach, they greet you and give a little bow of respect, and they say, "How can we help you?"
Yes, we are looking for Iku as a possible guide. We're told that she frequents here.
She does. She does. I do believe she may be inside. You can ask Grandfather Zitembe. He may know.
Okay. I guess. So I assume they point us in the direction to go then.
Yep, they just point to the main doors. So walking inside, you see another priest, but this one has robes that are much more highly decorated. It's obvious that he's higher up in the temple than the others. And he's standing there and he's talking with three humans, and they stick out. Not just in the confines of the temple, but from everything you've seen in Chult. Whereas everywhere in the port, there's bright colors, it's very vibrant, there's minstrels in the streets, people racing on dinosaurs. These three guys are dressed almost head to toe in black. And they seem to be having a very heated argument with Grandfather Zitembe.
Can we hear what they're saying?
They're speaking in hushed tones, but if you perform a perception check, we'll see if maybe you do hear something. Okay. You can hear them saying something. Whether you like it or not, old man, you will assist us. We need to find the location of Simber. And then the other one, he puts his hand on the hilt of his weapon, and you see him lean in to say something menacing, but then they notice that the three of you are now standing in the doorway. The Grandfather Zitembe looks up at you and he says, "Children, how can I help you?" And he kind of scuttles away from the three men in black.
Yes, we're looking for Iku.
Oh, yeah, just come this way and I'll help you. And then he turns back to the other three gentlemen. He's like, "Sorry, fellas. I have other things to attend to. You'll have to see yourselves out. Hold on, let me close my door. And he stops and he turns and he says, "Thank you, gentlemen. Those three were giving me quite a startle."
What did they want?
Well, we here at the Temple of Savras are quite skilled in the arts of divination and clairvoyancy. And they were trying to, well, at first they wanted to purchase my services in helping them locate somebody. But then when I refused, it was less of a negotiation and more of them just threatening me. And it seems that they didn't want to continue their conversation with other pairs of eyes.
Seems to me might be something we may need to look into as well.
They got scared off because there was witnesses. Amateur enforcers. Jeez.
He turns and looks at you and he's like, "See, that's exactly why I refused to help them. Because I got this inclination that they were doing they were going to do something terrible to this man they were looking for if I helped them."
I say really quickly, you say you are a diviner. Could you perhaps use your powers to locate artifacts as well as people?
Well, I certainly could try, young man. And I mean, I would certainly owe you the favor for inadvertently helping me out there. And he gives a wry chuckle.
And I say, we are looking for a particular artifact related to our quest. It seems to be used for some nefarious purpose to spread the death curse.
What?
But
why are you here on Chult?
we are hoping to find the source of this death curse, as we are told it originates from here. So we are looking for an artifact on the island that is associated with it, and may be the key.
No, that cannot be. I mean, to think that this death curse would have anything to do with our island, I guess, it's inconceivable.
Well, it doesn't seem to be the nicest place to begin with, filled with such monsters and creatures. Why would you think that such a thing could not be possible?
It just seems so close to home. Do you know? Well, I would love to help. However, the Divination Ritual requires certain components. I would need you to provide them to me, or to pay me in restitution for the components. And then it takes 24 hours to complete the ritual. If you're interested, the components cost 25 gold.
I'll give it some thought. I turn to Cade and Thog and say, perhaps you should go on ahead and speak with our guide while I see if I can see about this divination ritual.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
That works. Where's Iku at?
Okay. She's in the room there, and he points down the hall. So who's going to meet with Iku?
Thok and Cade.
Okay. And Sarpedon is staying to talk with Grandfather Zatembe. Alright, so Thok, Cade, you two first. Walking down the hall, you see Iku sitting on the floor. There's candles and incense in front of her, and she seems to be in meditation.
So I'll tap lightly on like a door and ask for Iku to just try and get her attention.
Okay. She opens her eyes but does not move. She says, "How can I help you?"
Yes, we found your flyer as a potential guide at the Tumescent Rooster, and come to seek your services and possibly leading us into the jungles of Cholt.
Ah, I see. I see. So, you have read my flyer. You understand my terms?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I will not abide by evil actions. So, if you were to do something which I would feel is corrupt or immoral, I will leave. But I trust if you've sought me out, that will not be a problem, right?
Yes, that's correct. We're not really here for pillage and plunder. We're here to correct the wrongs of the death curse that seems to be plaguing the city as well as parts of the world.
Ah, I see. That surely is a noble cause. And she looks to Cade, and then she says, "Well, maybe not so noble." Tell me, sir, how did you die?
Oh, you can see that, huh?
Aye, Iku is very wise. I see many things that others do not.
Past adventure, we came across a dragon. He ran. Well, he came back later, attacked the village where we were. We attacked him. He blew up, and I'm here now.
Okay. Okay. I will agree to help you. 150 coins is the agreed upon price.
All right, I'll pay the full 150 myself.
Okay. She stands up and she says, "I am here to serve."
Well, I'm happy that you agreed to come along with us. Do you happen to know of a place known as Omu?
It is not a familiar sound. I'm afraid that I do not.
Well, from your flyer, you said you'd be able to show us ancient temples and things like that.
I can indeed show you very many temples. But
I feel that maybe our search may begin in some of those places that they may have the information needed to find this location of Omu.
that's a very wise observation, sir. But what makes you think that Omu is a place?
Essentially, for me, it's a gut feeling. But if the facts lead to change that feeling, the more knowledge I have, the wiser I'll be.
Okay. Well then, we will search these temples for for information, and we will see what we come up with. All right, Serpedon. So you've hung back with Grandfather Satembe. What are you gonna say to him?
I'll hand him the 25 gold needed for the reagents and ask him to perform his divination ritual in search of this Obu.
Okay, I will begin preparing. Come back in one day, and I will tell you everything that I can.
All right then.
All right, so the party is going to meet back up and do what?
Is Iku with us at this point as well?
Yep, she is a part of the party now. In combat, she'll have a turn, just like a non-player character. Yep, just like a player character would, and she will also receive a portion of the experience. So, but she is going to be a permanent part of the party until you guys get rid of her.
Is she a priest or some sort of cleric?
You could ask Iku.
Oh, all right. Is she nearby?
Yeah, she's with you guys.
Oh, all right. I ask her, what sort of capabilities do you have in combat?
I think, in your words, I would be closest to a druid. I can cast spells, and I can tend to your wounds, and I can also, fight our enemies as well. You'll find I'm quite capable.
A druid. Does that mean you have any sort of affinity with creatures or animals?
I think I get along with them well enough, but not any more than the next folk. And she begins to laugh.
Oh, very well then. All right then. This high priest, Father, said that his ritual will take about a day, and he says he may be able to locate the artifact or location it is that we're seeking, and having a heading would definitely be a boon to us. Shall we maybe spend the night here, and once we hear from him, we set out in the morning?
Well, if we have time on our hands, we should probably. I turn to Iku and ask, and pretty much state this. We should probably prepare for our journey. And then I look at Iku and directly and ask her, is there anything in particular that we should be bringing along with us on our trip?
Well, if we go to the bazaar, they have insect repellent that will help keep the bugs off of you as we traverse the jungle. Could be useful, if not for comfort, but remember there are venomous bugs out there, and it could be dangerous. You may want to buy a rain catcher. That way, we're going to need water as we travel through the jungle. And either you can buy lots of water, but then it's heavy and you have to carry it. Or you could buy a rain catcher and you can set it up whenever you need. I would also recommend, if you don't own a tent, you may want to buy one, because it rains very frequently here in the jungle. And if it rains, the visibility will be so poor we may get pinned down. And we may be forced to make camp. In addition to some of those things, you may just want to stock up on anything else you may need. Ammunition, weapons, food. I mean, I don't know what you guys have with you already.
Okay, very well. Then yeah, I think that's going to be my course, is I will head to the bazaar in search of a tent and at least a rain catcher. Cade, are you going to be looking for anything?
I'll just follow you guys, and if I see something I need, I'll buy it.
Fair enough. All right. Then I pretty much state to Iku. I guess that we can meet back up here.
Okay, I'm back.
Or let's see. Or where would be the best place to meet back up tomorrow morning after we receive information from the divination?
Maybe at the gates where we'll be departing.
Okay. Alright. So, are you guys splitting up again? Is that what I heard? Or is the party as a whole going to go and shop around?
As a whole is what I understood.
So, yeah, I think it might be best.
Okay. So, where would you like to go? You know of 2 spaces where you could go and buy. You know, the merchant princes, being merchants, probably sell shit. Then there's the what was it called? Grand Souk. The Grand Souk. I guess 3 then, because then there's also the Red Bazaar. So, where to?
Honestly, since we're on this side of that gate already, we should probably check out the Merchant Princes first.
Yeah, but I doubt they'll have anything for sale that's economical.
Might not be the most economical, but it'll more than likely be higher quality.
Do as you will. I think I might just go somewhere to buy some health potions and then turn into the inn. I think I've done enough shopping for one day.
Okay. So, where are you going?
I'll ask Iku if there are any apothecaries nearby that could sell health potions.
We don't have any fancy shops for stuff like that. But if you go into the Grand Souk, you could probably find what you need.
Alright, I'll head there then.
Okay. So, you find someone selling health potions, and they ask, how many would you like?
I think I'll take 3 potions of healing.
Okay, 240 gold, please.
That seems a little steep.
Did you think you were still on the Sword Coast? Such fine things are not very common all the way out here.
Is there anything that the locals use in place of health potions when they need a bit of vigor in combat?
I'm gonna say no, but your comment reminded me of something else, and now I have to find it. No. Nope.
Then I suppose I'll just have to make do with what I have. I thank him and just go off to the inn.
Okay. So you two standing at the golden throne. What are you trying to buy?
I'm trying.
I guess let me explain what you see first, okay? Approaching the golden throne, you see a very small bazaar. Okay? And on your map, you can even see these little tents outside, right? There are one of them for each merchant prince. And each one of them has a single man working. And then behind them is a sigil of the merchant prince they represent. Walking up to the first tent, he introduces himself. There we go. He says, "Hello, I am the servant of Ikina Afa. We have weapons, shields, and traveling gear. Anything that you may need, and then maybe even something more."
Well, seems I found the right booth to begin my purchasing. I'm looking for traveling gear. I need at least a rain catcher and a couple of tents. How much would you charge for these?
In your journal, just for future reference, you should see a folder titled Shop. And then there's weapons, mounts and vehicles, tools, armor, adventuring gear. Just gives you reference for everything. It won't be set in stone because some of the prices are different for Chult, but I don't know. I've been trying to make things easily available. Tent. QS. It is 2 gold for a 2-person tent. And then a rain catcher. Son of a bitch. A rain catcher is 1 gold.
Okay, so 5 gold in total. Yeah, I'll pay for that.
Okay. When he hands you the rain catcher, you see it's just like, 3 wooden stakes with a tarp that's tied to each of the ends. He sees you looking at it and says, "Do you need me to explain?"
Well, from the look of it, it looks like I put the sticks on the ground and make sure the tarp saddles so it can catch water, correct?
You got it.
I'm awesome.
I'm awesome. He says, "Is there anything else I can help you with, sir?" He says, "That's a mighty fine shield you have there."
Yes, I was actually going to say, what type of special equipment might you have?
Well, Iki Nafa is a merchant prince for a reason. He won numerous gladiatorial contests in the arena before she invested her winnings into financing her trades. She has a couple legendary equipments that she has enchanted herself over the years. We have this, and he pulls out a shield. And the shield, even though it's made of wood, it is ornamented, just like you've seen all of the guards carrying. And the man behind the counter says, "This is an enchanted shield. It will protect you like none other. And then he holds out a couple weapons, a small dagger, and then one of those long curved swords that all the guards are carrying. Says, these have also been enchanted by Ikinatha.
And how much does something like that go for?
It's 500 gold.
And the shield as well?
500 gold.
I believe I may have to pass on this for now.
Suit yourself. Okay. You like to look around some more, or?
Yeah, I'd like to check out some of the other stalls and see what the next one has.
All right. The next stall, and when you approach, you see it has several small animals in cages, as long as a couple dinosaurs that are bridled and saddled. You walk up to him, and he bows and introduces himself. He says, I am the servant of Ifan Talroa. We sell the finest and best trained beasts in all of Chult. Looking into the cages, you see a couple strange creatures. You see one that appears to be some kind of simian with wings. You see another which looks to be almost like a crocodile, but covered in scales from tip to tail that appear to be made out of metal. And then you see several kinds of dinosaurs. None of which that are terribly large. Some are about the size of a bear, but most are about the size of a horse. And I wish I had handouts to show you these things, but I can't find them. What are handouts? Creatures and monsters. Nope. No handouts for the dinosaurs. That's lame. Okay.
All right, I may come back to this one. I want to check out the other booths before I make my decision on one of these.
Okay. Next up, you see a stall that is filled with a bunch of plant life. And when you walk up, the man behind the counter has a dagger, and he is rubbing the dagger with some kind of putrid-smelling fruit. You walk up, and they simply stare at you.
And I ask, what types of medicines or poisons do you happen to have on sale?
I have a few that you may find of interest. I doubt you'll be able to afford them. What kind of poison do you need?
Something tasteless and odorless.
And on what kind of a budget are you working with, sir?
Do you happen to have anything for 100 gold or less?
No. My budget poison is this, and she holds it out, and you see a vial of a reddish fluid. She says, this is assassin's blood. This vial will cost you 150 gold, and it has a single use.
And how long does the assassin's blood take to take effect on somebody?
It is instantaneous. A subject who ingests assassin's blood, they immediately succumb to the effects. And if they somehow resist the poison and do not perish, then they will remain poisoned for the next 24 hours. Plenty of time to finish the job. Need I remind you, though, murder is forbidden within the port. And if you need to deal with somebody, you're going to have to talk to Jobel first.
Well, I'm not thinking of in the port specifically. I feel I may need something like this on my quest out and about to help try and end this death curse.
So, are you going to buy my poison or not, sir? If you're looking for something different, maybe this is more in line with what you need. And she hands out it's a very sticky looking greenish blob. This is Carrion crawler mucus. You can rub this on an arrowhead or on your weapon. And once you expose it to an enemy, they become paralyzed and unable to resist any of your further attacks.
And how much is that?
200 gold for one use.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. So she takes a knife that she was holding, and she chops a very small portion of that greenish slime, and she puts it in a bottle. She hands it to you and says, "Be careful not to handle it yourself. You're going to need to wear gloves or something else when you coat it on your weapon."
Sound advice. I'll take that into very serious consideration.
Okay. Anything else I can help you with?
No, I think that'll be it.
Cade, nothing to say yet?
I'm good.
Alright. Moving on to the next stall.
Yep.
Alright, the next stall, you see one man standing there, and then there's no counter, there's no merchandise, but littered along the walls of the stall are pictures of people. On the wall you can see Iku's picture, you can see all of the other guys that you've seen so far, and the man standing there gives a deep, slow bow and says, "How can I assist you?"
What are you selling?
People. You can come here and hire a guide or a sellsword from my master Jobel.
Yeah, I don't think we need anything from this stall currently.
Okay.
Agreed.
In the next stall, you see a slender woman. She says, "I serve the merchant lord Quayathe. And I have a variety of fruits and wines and ales, things to make your stay in Chult more pleasant.
That is extremely tempting, especially the ale part. I think we're more for adventuring supplies. Getting drunk out there would probably not be my best move.
Well, what about some insect repellent? Surely you must need this.
That we will take.
Okay. She hands it to you, and she, holds your hand, and it's very sensual. You can feel like she's kind of being flirty, but you also understand she's trying to sell you things. It's not because she's interested. It's like she hands you this jelly block, and she says, "This block will apply 20 uses of insect repellent. You rub your hand on it, and then you rub the grease on your hands and arms, and you apply it all over your body. This will be 1 gold for this block. And each application will last for 24 hours. And also, it's waterproof, so it won't wash off in the rain."
I'll take 1 block.
That is cheap, Whirlstorm. I wonder what it could be made of that it's so cheap.
Question is, do we really want to know?
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
I will take 3 of them.
Alrighty. There are 2 stalls remaining. Holy shit. Alright. If it works, it doesn't matter what it's made of. That is an opinion that you may have. That'd be like, hey, if you rub this lotion on your skin every day, then it'll help you be wrinkle free. Well, yeah, but what's it made of? The blood of babies and bat shit? Oh yeah, I'm gonna rub it on my face. Doesn't matter. It totally works, so it's cool that I rub shit and blood on my face. Alright, in the next stall, this woman has a jewelry case. It says, "I serve the mighty Zanti, the wealthiest of all the merchant princes. Would you like any of our fine goods?" You see that in addition to the gems and jewelry, behind her she has colorful cloths and leathers strung up on the wall.
No, but would I be able to possibly sell some gems that I have?
Certainly. Do you know how much they're worth?
Say again?
Do you know how much they're worth?
Yes.
Cool.
So I had a pearl that was worth 100 gold, a diamond worth 100 gold. Let's see. I also had this eye patch that was covered in precious stones that was worth about 50 gold. And that's all I wanted to offload.
Okay. So that's 250.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna make her haggle because that takes time, and I'm lazy. Yep, just 250. Just add it to your sheet. All right.
I will also sell the diamond that I have.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. Do you have just one diamond?
Yep, just the one diamond.
Okay. Want to get out of town ASAP? Yeah. Well, it's been almost 2.5 hours and we haven't left town yet. But that's how I expected today to go. There was a lot to do in Port Nyanzaru.
And we're waiting on our divination, which takes 24 hours by itself.
Yep. Okay. The last merchant stall. You walk up, and this person has books and scrolls and all manner of other arcane objects laying about. You walk up, and he puts his fist over his heart, and he says, "I am the servant of Wakanga Otamu, and I have a manner of magical goods for you to peruse."
What type of magical goods do you sell?
We have potions, and we have scrolls, and a few books as well.
What type of books exactly in terms of spells?
Well, he eyes you up and down. He says, "You are a cleric, are you not?"
That I am.
Well, I have, a wizard spell book. It may not be of use to you. I have arcane focus and all manner of material components for spells, but as far as written spells go, it'll just be these scrolls. I can manufacture a scroll of any first or second level spell, and it's at a pretty reasonable price.
All right. This is something I'll actually make note of, so I can inform Sarpedon. Yeah, because he seems to be fairly handy with spell scrolls. In case he wants to swing by later and pick some up.
Okay. But nothing else to purchase?
Nope.
Alrighty.
Well, from this stall anyway. Is there any more?
No, that's the last of the merchant princes.
Then I'm going to go buy a flying monkey.
All right. So going back to the original stall, the man says it'll be 100 gold to purchase a flying monkey.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'll hand him the 100 gold.
Yep, and he gives you a flying monkey. You can see... You cannot see. Hold on, let me put him in your... Now, the flying monkey, it has a limited intelligence, so it can obey simple commands. And if you look at its sheet, it does have an attack. I don't know if you want to send it into combat, though. It's more of it's a pet. It's a cosmetic. It follows you around. It does cute monkey things.
I'm assuming it's fairly small, so I'm looking to possibly use it to get into small spaces.
Oh, maybe. Shit, I dropped it. Where did it go? Alright. And now he is in your... let me change to just stock. There you go. He is in your journal now. You should be able to see him, drop him onto the table, and manipulate him.
Perfect.
Okay. Anybody else? Sarpedon? Are you done?
Yeah, I'm still at the inn, and I've kind of ended my shopping spree for today.
Okay, so let's, I don't know if you guys just heard the wife tell me the dinner's here, but I'd like to try and wrap it up, because we're at the point now, you're going to go get your divination, and then I don't really want to get into exploring outside of Chult, because that would be an entire another session. So the group's going to meet back up at the inn, you're going to have a nap, and then you can head to the temple and see what Grandfather Zatembe came up with. Sound good?
Okay, yeah.
Works for me.
Okay. So, you go back to the inn, you have another long rest, and then... Where the heck did it... Oh, there it is. Okay.
You had to use the word long rest, didn't you?
I did. You go back to the temple. Father Zatembe... I'm sorry. You walk into the temple, and you see Father Zatembe is laid out on a cot. There are 3 people attending him. One person has their hand on his wrist, like they're checking his pulse, and then the other person is leaned down with their head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat.
I walk in and say, "Is there something wrong with him?"
They look up at you and they say, "No, he's in the dream sleep. He should be awaking any moment now."
I see.
A moment later, he begins to stir. He sits up and leans over the edge of the cot, and then one of the attendants puts a bucket in front of his face, and then he promptly vomits. He stands up weakly, and he says that during his sleep, he saw a jungle city far off to the south, enclosed by cliffs and crawling with snakes. Then, he says, that he saw a black obelisk draped in vines. He tried to peer deeper, but he felt something clawing at the edges of his mind, and he had to retreat. So unfortunately, that's all the information he has for you.
Alright, I relay this information to our guide to see if it may reveal the location we seek.
She shakes her head. Here, I'll put it there in case you guys want to copy paste. She shakes her head and says, "I don't have any knowledge of a city to the south. Not one surrounded by cliffs and snakes. We'll have to look. I don't know what else to do."
Alright, well, we have south, at least. We'll just have to...
Hey, yeah, you have a heading. Okay. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up for today. So, give me a moment. I'll sign off and log out of Twitch. And then I'll check in with you guys in case you need anything else, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody who came and hung out with me today. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves as much as I did. I know it's a bit shorter today. Only 3 hours. What? But, you know, we will be back tomorrow at noon as we start the Curse of Strahd. It should be a lot of fun. That's part of the reason why I'm cutting out. I need to do some other last-minute preparation. So, hopefully I see you guys again tomorrow, and have a good night.